What's up, y'all? Welcome back to LA Show. We are back, and I wanted to say thank you guys so much for your support. You know, I never really thought that this channel would get so deep and the topics that I would discuss would be so broad. And, you know, I'm having a couple of issues with my Instagram, and I just want to let you guys know ahead of time that I may need to find alternative ways to get the information and the message out to you guys. If you have any ideas, let me know. I am looking more into podcasting, but in the meantime, you can catch me on Fidel Cashflow VA, on Anchor FM, Spotify. He's streaming on all platforms that have podcasts available. So if you all like listening to certain things, then by all means, I will be featured on his show, and you can check him out. He has different podcasts that we've done in the past, because I just don't see myself lasting too long out here with the information I'm trying to give you guys. So please support me on my other social media platforms. I have a Facebook, Young LA, and also a Twitter at LA Show _. So if you could, please go and follow me on these platforms as well, because my Instagram has gotten reported recently, and I'm just worried about this continuing. I know once it starts, it pretty much doesn't stop. But enough about me. Let's get into the news while you're here. It looks like Kevin Hart was hospitalized after suffering major back injuries in a car crash. This is from CBS News, and it happened last night. Comedian Kevin Hart suffered major back injuries in a car accident early Sunday morning in California. The State Highway Patrol confirmed. Reports CBS Los Angeles. A man identified as Jared Black was driving both the night school star and passenger Rebecca Brocksterman in the star's 1970 Plymouth Barracuda in Calabasas, California. When the accident occurred, Black was turning from a road in the city when he lost control of the vehicle, sending it off the street and tumbling down an embankment, reports CBS LA. Black and Brocksterman were trapped in the car, but Hart was able to leave the scene of the crash and get medical attention at his nearby home. He and the driver were then transported to a nearby hospital. Both Hart and the driver suffered major back injuries, the California Highway Patrol said. Brocksterman told authorities she was in pain, but sought out her own aid, according to CHP report of the collision. The report listed her injuries as minor. The driver was not under the influence of alcohol at the time of the early morning collision. Reporter Greg Mills tweeted a video of the street where he said Hart's car was involved in the accident. The video shows skid marks on the road. Hart has not commented on the accident on social media. His last post on Instagram was an image of him jumping into a pool with the caption, "Being home makes me happy. Enjoy your weekend, people. Live, love, laugh." A representative of the comedian has not responded to a request for comment. Stars have taken to social media to wish Hart a speedy recovery. Actor Terry Crews tweeted, "Get well soon, brother." Comedian Jeff Ross also tweeted, "We need Ed Kevin Hart to be okay." So this is a very scary situation for him, I'm pretty sure. The reports on it are pretty sketchy, in my opinion. However, it does look like this man, and this man's fiance were driving early in the morning on Sunday, and the car went off the road. And these are very windy roads in California. I'm not sure if you know that. I don't know that personally. I've just heard about that due to many documentaries I've watched and looking at maps and stuff. So, I mean, it is kind of hard to travel in California. But I wonder what was really, really taking place. Like, what was going on? Where were they coming from? What were they doing? How extensive are his injuries? Will he be able to walk again? They're saying that he is going to make a full recovery. And I also seen something pop up about him pretty much stating that, it's kind of funny that I do believe NBC News brought up the fact that he had made controversial statements in the past towards the LGBTQ community. I don't think that needed to really be in their reporting on Kevin Hart, because he has apologized and, moved forward with his career. But, let me know what you guys think about this situation. I will try to stay on this as long as I can. And I hope that he does make a speedy recovery and is, okay and safe. So the next story is the 7 killed in the Texas shooting. And this is in Odessa, Texas. It started somewhere else, but we'll find out in this news article from CNN. West Texas gunman was fired from job hours before massacre, the New York Times reports. The 36-year-old gunman who left 7 people dead in a West Texas killing rampage has been fired from his job hours before the massacre began. CNN is working to learn more details about authorities, but authorities have repeatedly cautioned that they have yet to establish a motive for the shooting. Seth Adder began spraying the roads with bullets after police pulled him over for failing to use his signal. He killed 7 people and wounded 22 before authorities rammed the hijacked mail truck he was driving and gunned him down. The reason that person was stopped was because of a Midland police officer and an Odessa police officer. They rammed his car, stopped him, and when he got out, they shot him, Odessa Mayor David Turner said. Authorities say they believe Adder acted alone, but have not yet determined a motive. Those who were killed range from 15 years old to 57 years old. Odessa Police Chief Michael Girk said, and included Mary Granados, a 29-year-old mail carrier who was on the phone with her twin sister as she neared the end of her shift. Also killed was Cameron Brown, who worked for Standard Safety and Supply, the company said. The company linked to a GoFundMe page for Brown, which said he was a resident of Brownwood, Texas, and had served in the army in Afghanistan. A 17-month-old little girl and 3 law enforcement officers were also injured. He was pulled over for not using his signal. The shooter was pulled over by Texas troopers in Midland on Saturday afternoon. Police said he had been fired from his job at a trucking company that morning, the New York Times reported. He began shooting at officers with what police described as an assault weapon and sped away. He continued firing randomly at residents and motorists, police said. He then hijacked a postal truck and made his way to Odessa, about 20 miles away. That's where police confronted him in a parking lot and killed him. A police vehicle rammed the truck carrying the gunman, sending it spinning into a group of cars. Authorities surrounded him, according to a bystander video in Midland County District Attorney. Law enforcement at that point had collectively taken efforts to surround him, and he was not going to go anywhere, and he was not going to hurt anybody else, Nordoff said. That is the definition of heroism, when you have people you are walking into fire and could be hit. Investigators are combing through 15 crime scenes and multiple cars. FBI special agent in charge is Christopher Combs. At this point, federal investigators do not believe there's any connection to any domestic or international terrorism. The victims, it's a lot of victims. So the victims have been put out there, some of them. The numbers of active shooting incidents increasing. More than 40 people have died in the 4 shootings in Texas, Ohio, and California since July. It's part of a trend, the FBI says, and it's getting worse each year. If you look back at the numbers, we're looking at an active shooter every other week in this country. Wow. The agency has conducted a study on all active shooters, who they define as an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a populated area between 2000 and 2018, and found the numbers keep increasing. I think it's frustrating for all of us in law enforcement that we keep having to do this, he said, referring to ongoing investigations. For the FBI in particular, we do them across the country as a service to our state and local partners. It's just getting worse. The latest shooting took place hours after a series of firearms laws that loosened gun restrictions went into effect in Texas. Included are laws that allow weapons on school grounds, apartments, and places of worship. I have been to many of these events, Governor Greg Abbott said. I am heartbroken by the crying of the people in the state of Texas. I'm tired of the dying of the people of Texas. Too many Texans are in mourning. Too many Texans have lost their lives. The status quo in Texas is unacceptable and action is needed. I totally agree with that. I mean, I don't understand what keeps happening. And you're saying that you just recently loosened gun laws, and then this took place. The guy apparently was ticked off that he got fired. But my question is, why did he have to go after everybody else? Why couldn't he just, keep the heat on himself? Pretty much. But these people are so selfish and they don't think about other people. They don't care. They're just angry. They're just upset. So I do believe what's going on in my mind, what I think about when I see a Caucasian man shooting up the place, I instantly think of domestic terrorism. And I also instantly think, why isn't this not known to the FBI and, these police and law enforcement, that we do have some men that fit a certain build that are doing these things to mass groups of people, and they're just getting wiped out. It's crazy. Comment down below what you think about that issue. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Hurricane Dorian as it slammed into the Bahamas. And this is a very heartbreaking situation that's going on in the Bahamas. Got to pray for them, just like we have to pray for the Amazon as it's still burning. There's more fires being set in the Amazon. But back to the Bahamas. This is from CNN again. Hurricane Dorian slams into the Bahamas. This was just posted a couple minutes ago. President Trump spent today visiting his Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, Virginia, and tweeting political grievances as a massive hurricane prepares to barrel up the East Coast. Trump's visit to the National marks the 289th day he has spent at a Trump property and the 227th day he has spent at one of his golf clubs as president. He spoke to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis today. DeSantis, a Republican, said in a news conference that the president is fully engaged with federal, state, and local officials. Price gouging allegations grow in Florida and Georgia. The number of alleged price gouging contacts due to Hurricane Dorian has grown to 2,100 in Florida and Georgia, according to Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody. Moody provided this information in a video. She calls these people and businesses bad actors. Price gouging contacts include phone calls or tips made to the agency's app or online systems. The illegal practice of price gouging involves increasing the prices of necessary items like food, water, and hotel rooms during any national disaster. That's terrible. Inside a flooded room in Grand Bahama, Michael Pentard, Minister for Agriculture in Bahamas, shared a video showing the rising waters outside his home and the damage done inside during Hurricane Dorian. In the video, Pentard estimates the sea levels has risen at least 15 feet to reach a level above the windows of his home. This is what I'm facing at the moment, and I have neighbors that are in far worse positions than me and my family, he said. More than 1,000 flights canceled around the U.S. as Dorian approaches. While Hurricane Dorian has yet to make landfall in the U.S., that hasn't stopped the Category 4 storm from forcing major airlines to cancel or delay hundreds of flights today. So far, 744 flights into or out of the U.S. have been delayed, while 1,138 flights have been canceled, according to data from the aviation tracking website FlightAware. It is unclear how many of these delays and cancellations were directly related to Dorian. Dorian expected to get dangerously close to Florida tonight. While Hurricane Dorian creeps along 1 mile per hour, the storm is expected to get dangerously close to the U.S. tonight, according to the National Hurricane Center. The Category 4 storm is now moving in a westward to west-northwestward position, which should be followed by a gradual turn toward a northwest and north. The center is said around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On this track, the core of extremely dangerous Dorian will continue to pound Grand Bahama Island through much of today and tonight. The hurricane will then move dangerously close to Florida East Coast late tonight through Wednesday evening, and then move dangerously close to Georgia and South Carolina coast on Wednesday night and Thursday. This is what it looks like inside the eye of Dorian. The Florida hospitals are evacuating patients and closing emergency rooms. Patients at Baptist Medical Center Beaches in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, are being transferred to Baptist Medical Center South, the hospital says. You can expect significant beach erosion from Florida to North Carolina due to Dorian. So it looks like it's just going to sweep up all the way up from the tip of Florida all the way up to the about, what is that, Norfolk? It looks like Norfolk, Virginia. And another title, you can expect significant, okay, read that. What you need to know about the hurricane warnings and watches that were just extended in the southeast USA. We've summarized all the watches and warnings in place for Hurricane Dorian. A storm surge warning is in effect, and that's in several places along the coast. A storm surge warning is there is danger of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the shoreline somewhere within the specified area, generally within 36 hours. If you are under a storm surge warning, check for evacuation orders from your local officials. Storm surge watch, there is a possibility of life-threatening inundation from water rising, moving inland from the shoreline somewhere within the specified area, generally within 48 hours. A hurricane warning, hurricane conditions, sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or greater are expected somewhere within the specified area. NHC issues a hurricane warning 36 hours in advance of tropical storm force winds to give you time to complete your preparations. All preparations should be complete. Evacuate immediately if ordered so. Hurricane watch is different because it's possible and it's still the same parameters. Tropical storm warning, tropical storm conditions, sustained winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour are expected within your area within 36 hours. And then a tropical storm watch, there will be a possible storm in that area and it will be within 48 hours. You should get that message. There are some people that are riding out the storm in the Bahamas, which is very, very unfortunate because not everybody has the resources or the money to be able to leave. And like I said, I do send out my prayers, and I hope all is well within these situations. Let me know down below what you guys think. I really do appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for tuning in.